What's going on, guys? This is Trey back with another video, and this is part 2 of boiling maple syrup. So the first video, I showed you how to boil the maple syrup outside on a camping stove. Now I'll show you how to finish boiling it and how to can it inside. And another quick tip when you're boiling on the inside, just to finish it off. As you can hear, I have fans going up there and there, making sure that this is very vented and that steam doesn't go anywhere. Because that can, I've heard even sometimes it could rip off wallpaper or peel it off, and it's really sticky. So you want to make sure there's good vents in the area and you're not near wallpaper. Alright, so this is just a little demonstration on how to tell the sugar content. This is a hydrometer cup, and I have a hydrometer over there. And what you do is you just take spoonfuls of what you think would be syrup, and then just spoon that through that and there. I think it takes about 3 or 2.5 scoops. Last time I actually overflowed it. Gotta check that. And you can get these on like Amazon. All of this can be on Amazon or tapmytrees.com, I think. Just to see. And you don't want to fill it, that's good. You don't want to fill it to the top because your hydrometer is going to go in and you don't want that to overflow. So here's the hydrometer. You want to get your syrup about there. So in between there too. So you'll see. And when you're putting this in, you don't want to just drop it, because like now this is just as demonstration. It's a little too high, as you can see. You don't want to drop it in because it could overflow. Also, but again, you lower it in slowly. Don't want to drop it because the sugar level might not be there. And then you just want to kind of place it to the bottom. And then it'll float, which, as you can see, it's not really floating now because it's nowhere near done. And it's probably at the R, and we need to be here. So it has a long ways to go. That was just a quick demonstration. So while you're boiling your sap, again, it's gotten darker, but it's not syrup yet. You want to boil jars. So you want to find out how much sap you're supposed to make, and then you just want to boil the jars. You want to boil the lids too, and that's really important because if you don't boil the lids, the jar might not seal properly. I actually tested this, and one time I boiled it and it sealed after like 20 minutes. You'll hear a pop, and then I didn't boil it before, and then it never sealed. But you really should do it, even if you're going to eat it the day before or the day after. You really should seal it because that's better. Also, coming over here, this, if you listen, you'll hear that. But right now, when it does that, it's not sealed. So if you're keeping it on your counter, you'll just hear, and then it'll stay down. That's how you know it's not, or that's how you know it's sealed. But when it's like that, it's not sealed. And that was just, I just have the temperature going. I'm not going off the temperature. I'm using the hydrometer like I showed you before. And it looks like we're getting close to it. And we've been going for about 3.5 hours now. 2 hours outside and 1.5 hours inside. And this is what I mean. If you really can do it outside, you can do it on a homemade cinder block evaporator, on the camping stove like I did, even a turkey fryer. So it's really good if you do that outside rather than inside, because it's taken almost as long just to boil a little bit inside than it did to boil 3 gallons outside, 3 or 4 gallons outside. This is just another update. I tried it in the hydrometer cup and it's still not ready. Temperature's over there. I transferred it from that big pot into this smaller pot so I can control it better. And then I could, rather than it being a centimeter thick, throughout the whole base of that, I could just use it all in here and then boil it down in here. And we have a little bit. I mean, hydrometer still doesn't read that it's maple syrup yet, but I might pull it soon depending on because it's getting like the hydrometer, like this is sticky now. Like see that? It's really sticky, so I don't know what's going on with that in the cup, but we'll probably give it a little bit longer. All right, so now the hydrometer, I don't think it's working. This is the maple syrup. It looks dark. I don't think I burned it, but here I have the filter set up. All right, so now I'm done. The maple syrup has had telltale signs that it's done. The hydrometer I don't think is working, but this is what I'm using. This is a t-shirt, then I have this, and then I have another filter. I really want to make sure it's all filtered out, just because there could be sugar sand, and I don't want that in the syrup. So this might take a while. It's actually going really quick, but then you want to move this over. You want to take your glasses that you had in the boiling water, because again, they'll seal now. You want to take them out of the water with tweezers. You don't want to hurt yourself. Take them out, put them on something that can have heat on it, because they were just in boiling water. You know, take all the lids out and everything, and then you can can them up. But yeah, that has a sealant on it, so when you screw it on the top, it'll seal. And you might see stuff floating around in the water. That's just because this had all that on it, and then it started to come off. You can see it draining. It does take a little while, but I'll lift this up. You can see it in there. That should be nice, filtered and clean, because it's been through a lot of filters. And I will filter it one more time before we put it in the jars. So you can see that it's still filtering through. I'll lift that up. It's a slow process, but it really helps if you make everything damp. Like this is damp and this is damp. It will take a while, but I mean, I might just end up going like this and squeezing some of it. Be careful because it is hot. But yeah, it'll, as you can see, slowly drip. And then it goes into this. And I did cut another little piece of cloth to go onto here. This is a funnel that then goes into a jar. And just, you know, because you can't over-filter it. There's no consequence if you over-filter it. If you under-filter it, all the sugar sand, that's what it's called, all of this, I think, if you can see that, all that yellow, that's all gunk from the sugar sand. And I just poured that all out. But it's okay, because the t-shirt is really good. That's a really good filter. Again, I'll do this because I do have lots of filter. And be careful because your hands will be sticky. And all of that, you can definitely see the color different. That's all the sugar sand in there. Then this will continue to drain in there. Wash your hand off. Because that stuff is sticky. The hydrometer, I don't know why it wasn't working. If you know, please drop a comment down below, because it wasn't working for me. But this is all sticky. Like the hydrometer is super sticky. So I don't know what was going on. Then I have it in here. Should be good. It's a little bit left still draining. But yeah, as you can see, just making maple syrup in general is just a very long, time-consuming project or job. But it's really nice to start off the spring, because if you garden, then you can garden. You know, this starts everything off, and then you get into your gardening, and it's just really nice. And I'll just squeeze that out, because it is taking a little while, and you don't want it to cool too much, because then it won't can as well. But yeah, you want to squeeze that and get as much as you can out of there. And the syrup is a little lighter than I thought. I thought it'd be, and you can see all that, but I thought it'd be a lot lighter, because usually in the beginning of the season, it's very light. But now, here's all the finished maple sap, or syrup, I should say. It's all in here. And then again, you just take this, pour it in there, into the funnel, and it'll fill it up. Or it is very light. It's just kind of hard to see in here. But when you pour it into the jar, it is very light. Which, as the season goes on, like I said before, it gets darker. And the darker it gets, the stronger maple taste it has. So it'll be more of a maple taste. Which is not really good for pancakes or waffles. That's really good for making barbecues or rubs. Yep, I'll finish the process up. You want to fill it almost to its full, probably up to here. And I have a 5-ounce jar, and I think I might only be able to use that. I'll just use the other 8-ounce. But yep, you can see it's to my liking. That's probably as full as I'm going to get it. I'm going to bring the other jar. Bring it and do the same thing with this jar. And then the jar I already did right here. You just take your lid, put your lid on, take this other part. I like these because then you can screw them on. Screw on your lid. Make sure it's nice and tight. And then another trick to do is you flip it upside down and just keep it like this for a few minutes, because all that sugary syrup is going to get on here and make a better seal. And then again, listen for that pop, and then that's how you know it's canned. Alright, so that'll conclude this video on how to make and boil the maple syrup. This is the final product, and I have, I think, around 12 to 16 ounces, which is pretty good for 5 gallons. And thank you for watching, and please subscribe.